Hello, everybody. So, what did I just watch? This might be the strangest movie to ever come out of Studio Ghibli. Pom Poko is a story about nature and animals that reside there, specifically Tanuki. And if you're unfamiliar with the term Tanuki, think raccoons with mystical powers jammed in. Pretty much what you got. So they transform. And they can transform into pretty much anything they want. And they use these powers and a few more to scare off any humans that are going through their work. When that doesn't work, they seem to call in the masters, and they will help them transform into even better. When that doesn't work, they eventually go into war. Now, this is a very simple premise that we've seen and heard a million times. But there are no real bad guys in this situation. The humans are just trying to create more land so they can thrive, and the animals just want the humans to quit impeding on their own land so they can survive. So it's just a misunderstanding. The animation for standard fare for Ghibli was really good. And if you don't like that art style, well then get out. But seriously, if you don't like anything from Studio Ghibli before, this is not really going to persuade you at all. As far as the Japanese sub versus Japanese dub, I like them both, and I think the dub was actually very, very clever, and I'll get to that in just one second. I want to talk about the sub real quick. The sub is marvelous. Again, standard fare for Studio Ghibli. They got a bunch of really good voice actors that go on the talent. The dub gets a special sign, a special big thumbs up for me, because in the sub, another ability that they have is they're able to stretch out their genitalia to an enormous amount, and this is normally used for comedy and to move the story along. Now, here in the West, that's going to get censored, and it's going to get censored kind of hard. So the way that the English dub did was actually kind of smart. And what they did was, instead of making it their genitalia, they turned that into little raccoon pouches that they have on their stomach that they can morph as anything they need. Although, if I'm being honest, when you watch it, there's no question what these things are. They censored that, but there's multiple images and multiple scenes where you can clearly see like nuts on these creatures, and you don't see a single solitary pouch. So it was clever. It just didn't get seen throughout. Now, I should say that when comparing this film to other films under Studio Ghibli's belt, specifically Princess Mononoke, there seems to be a lot of death in that, to be honest, and I don't know how to say this without not making sense. There is a good chunk amount of death in both of these series, both these movies, both in Pom Poko and in Princess Mononoke, and it's to a grisly effect. However, I personally feel like there were more advantages shown and done with in Princess Mononoke than there was here, and that's a real disappointment because this was a good movie. There was a good movie trying to get out, and unfortunately it just wasn't there. So with these, I don't particularly do rankings, and if I can find an alternative anime recommendation, I will do so for you. So for this one, the first one I'm going to give is the aforementioned Princess Mononoke. Although it should be said that anything from this studio should be watched, hence why it's the whole month that I'm taking this over. But even beyond that, it's such a good show. If you want to see what Pom Poko was trying to do, but better executed, look in Princess Mononoke. We will get to that eventually. I cannot wait. As for the second recommendation, this is not an anime recommendation, and it's weird that I do this because I am a firm believer that I do anime reviews, not animation reviews. If I wanted to see an animation review, if you guys want to see an animation review, you guys could just go to something like the Nostalgia Chick or the Nostalgia Critic or any others that you can find or you can think of that have animation reviews. Having said that, I would be remiss if I did not bring up Watership Down. Watership Down is a lot like this movie, and it's a lot like Princess Mononoke, in which it's a nature anime. It's a nature show, absolutely. There's no question it's a nature film. But the amount of death and gore and everything that you see just outmatches everything else. So even with the Western animation movie that I put in there, you guys will find something that you will catch your eye. And that's the end of this episode of Ghibli Month. I will see you guys very soon.